Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to Let's Play Empyrion 1.8. I'm 7-foot Dust Bunny, and we are, as you can see, back on Akua. As you see, we took a little bit of damage here. I got attacked by a couple of laser drones on the way back from Masperon. In fact, I lost a block here and there, as you can see. Not ideal. Bearing in mind most of this is plastic, so I'm not totally shocked at having lost blocks. But not ideal to be losing blocks here. But I managed to get away without too much damage, I think. Few little nicks and scratches and things here and there, but I think overall we're okay. I've lost a block there by the looks of it. Yes. So the laser drone actually is not very hard. It only took a few shots with the GATs to get it, so if I tried not running and just shooting it, it probably would have actually turned out better. That's mainly because I was going so slow as well, because I was fairly loaded up with cargo, of which a lot of it is here. So we're gonna chuck a bunch of that cargo into our cargo base here. We'll chuck all of these in. Now the big thing is going to be deciding, like, that medium armor. I am so wearing that medium armor. Is going to be deciding what to take with us on our upcoming journey to Omicron. So all of those I'm definitely taking with us, I think, and I'll take that one too. These ores are processing. I don't know why I have kind of a blank spot there. Not quite sure what's going on there. That one should be in the other box, as should that one. Yoink, yoink. As you see, we're going to need to do some upgrades to the little horrible SV, because I've been looking at what I'm going to do for transport to Omicron. Now, I could probably find a suitable one on the workshop, but actually I decided I kind of missed a trick. I mean, I really should have been trying to use some of the base game stuff here, just to see what the base game stuff is like now, because several people pointed out to me there's several base game bases I could have used. Actually, I've used this base before. This base, I quite recommend this base. I like this one. So, you know, there's quite a few good sort of starter base bits here and there. But I was thinking to use one of these base CVs. Now, I do like this one. This is, I've had a look at it in creative. This one is an X-Cow build. But I don't think we're going to get that neodymium. I think we could probably get together all the rest if we hop between planets, apart from the Sathium. So that's not really going to be on the cards. Obviously, I would love to use this. This is a J. Randall build. It's got a lot of carry capacity. I remember this. Again, I don't think we're going to be getting this anytime soon. And the big thing that I think I'm going to want from a base of some description, or a CV of some description, is the one thing SVs really lack, is a clone chamber. So if I die, I'm naffed. Or I have to respawn nearby. So the best look I can see is the Corvette. She is pretty basic. But may possibly be doable. I don't think I've got enough items yet to build it. Why am I stuck? Save me. Why am I stuck? What's going on? I'm stuck. I'm stuck in my ship. Save me. Why am I stuck in my ship? My legs have phased through the ship. What has happened? Okay. Okay. Let's fix this the best way to fix it, which is to get in the cockpit. I didn't want to use guard mode. I could have used guard mode, but let's try to avoid doing that. So yeah, if something like that happens, if you can reach the cockpit, that's a good place to go. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible to put all the materials in for that anytime particularly soon. But I want to get moving. I feel like we're kind of done on this base, on this planet. And to progress the story, we really need to start heading to Omicron. So that's where these goodies are going to come in. Now, one thing we could do here is we could make ourselves some more fuel. That might not be a bad plan. I mean, we've got 42, so let's just see how much fuel we have. Actually, I think we're pretty good on fuel. I don't want to carry too much crazy amounts of fuel. My armor I am going to upgrade because I like medium armor level. It's kind of the happy medium. I got a couple of power cores off the laser drone in space, which is nice. I don't have an armor. Do I have an armor locker in here? I do have an armor locker. Oh, yeah, I've got a heavy, which I've been wearing. We'll wear the medium. It'll just help me get around a bit quicker. I see we've got plenty of explorer tokens. I'm going to take the medium armor with me. No two ways about that. And I need to probably think about my ammo supplies, just to make sure I've got plenty of ammo with me, because that is going to be something. I'm going to take a small, one of the portable constructors with me. But first things first, I need to upgrade our little ship here. Now, as much as this is going to pain me to strip the top off because I hate having to put the blocks back afterwards, though you can drop the thing straight in there. Oh, look, I lost a block there as well. Sad times. You can't actually get the drone in this hole. And I'm going to need to get the drone in because I'm going to need to get in and get to where the core is. So on that note, we're actually going to strip back a few of these blocks, which is going to be like so. Because this little opening here, this is where the shield would go if you were using the shield. Now, there's a couple of steel blocks here. There's an open area right here for CPU extenders and things like that. As we have the steel block right there, and there, I believe, I'm going to put the core extender right here. So the core extender is going to go right there, and that should give us our extra CPU capacity. Yes. Now, pentaxid tank. I'm trying to remember where the pentaxid tank was supposed to go. It's been a while since I built this. Now that one's on the side of there. So that's there, that's below. If I'm right, you could put it there, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to... I mean, you can take out one of the fuel tanks and put it vertically there, because you do want, like, both of these eventually for T3 extenders. I think I can actually take that out if I know what it is. No, that's a cargo extender. That's the O2 station, so I can't take that out. Trying to remember where it was supposed to go, because I think if you take that one and that out, it can go there as well, if I remember rightly. Yoink. Yoink. Ooh, that is a thruster. Let's just have a check there. So mistakes were made moment. So that's a medium thruster. So actually, yeah, we can knock it in here, and we could even take that out if we wanted as well. Generally, it should be the steel blocks I have to take out, because they're the ones I just sort of did as an easy denotation to myself of what needs to be removed. I mean, truthfully, the steel blocks should be on the outside, but you know, you do what you can. So we'll just put a block back in here. I think it goes like so. Nope, not like that. Like that. There we go. Perfect. I can fix that later. So I can put the pentaxid tank right there. And a warp drive, if I've got this right, dimensionally speaking, right there. And warp drive. And we should be well within CPU still, which is good news. So I will return some of the plastic blocks. What I might want to do is make the texture tool so I can fix my texturing. Sadly, my texturing has been ruined by the modifications, but you know, you live and learn. So I got a couple of spare blocks, so I might as well put, first thing I'll do is just repair that block. And there, just make sure that's all repaired. Yep, I will put a block back there as we have one. That one, I think, is the block. Oh, it's sister. There we go. Just like that. Okay. So I'm missing 1, 2, 3, several blocks. But we now have a warp drive. So that is a positive. We can now leave this planet. We'll need to process the raw pentaxid to do so. Now, there's one other thing which I would like to do, and that's where I've kind of let myself down here. I think it's here again. Retrieve the block, or is it this one? Carbon substrate. Aha. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So that one was supposed not to get taken, which hopefully I've retrieved the block intact. Yes, I have. Now I should be able to put in here and replace a block in front of it. You should be able to fit a portable constructor in here. And yeah, that does take up some of the space for your CPU cores. That, trust me, it does fit. It all fits. It might take a little finagling, but it does fit. Because I put it all in and then stripped it all out. So I know it fits. I just don't quite remember how. So my thought is, one, to look at making a SV constructor, because that would obviously be very helpful on my actual life on Omicron. Because while the portable constructor will be handy for certain things, the SV constructor can build more things. So next up is, where is the SV constructor? Because that can actually build me things like ammo. Where is the SV constructor? It should be here. There it is. Mobile constructor. So CPU, it requires 2000 CPU. So we are still at 9,000 of our 15,000. So something else we might want to consider with our spare CPU, and there's no way, absolutely no way, we're getting to a shield. I'd love to have one, but it requires 16,300 CPU. That's more CPU than my entire ship is using. So that's out of the question. That is the next tier of CPU for sure. Because I believe the next tier gives me 40,000, so most of that will be taken up by this and thruster upgrades. Because thruster upgrades would certainly also be appreciated. But what we need, I think, is minigun turrets. They take 1,100 CPU each. So I reckon if we get the Constructor and some upgrades, we might actually then be able to look at whether we can upgrade ourselves a couple of thrusters to improve the situation. So let's put this back to here. So I want a portable Constructor, and I would like 2 of these. I'm also going to ask it to knock me out some additional ammo to make sure I have plenty. But these are going to be a definite requirement. So I'm really keeping this in. Quite often I don't keep in my upgrading of vessels, but I'm doing this so that everyone can see how I sort of go about upgrading them and what to look at. Now, the one other thing I would love to have, which is would be nice, it's a miscellaneous tool, I think. No, tools. Where are you? There you are. Texture tool. Takes almost nothing to make. So we'll put ourselves a texture tool in a list. I can't bother to go back down there. Just as a tip, if you can't be bothered and you only have at least the one constructor, well, this is a small constructor, but it's a bit of a pain in the butt. It always defaults to like the smallest constructor. And there we go. We can add a texture tool and we can get this to make the texture tool. So we can add that. I wouldn't also mind adding a few carbon composite blocks just so I can repair my few missing blocks. Take a couple more there. And then we can both have our blocks back and we can look nice too. So we're using the connected inventories for this. So put that there. This one you cannot use from a connected inventory. So let's start with putting this gun turret on. These little markers here mark the center of where the gun turrets go. There we go. And I can slap the other one on later. Here we can just plop the portable constructor in. And in fact, I'm going to put a steel block over that one just to be safe. Or we can stick one of those in to put that block back. And these were really just make it pretty blocks right here. So there we go. But the good thing about the make it pretty blocks, even before they get like blown off and things like that, is they do obviously take some damage to get them blown off. So they do have some value in terms of just ablative armor, so to speak. Because yeah, that's pretty much how they work at this point. So now I can put the texture tool on the bar here, access it, bring it up. These are your basic textures. I believe this one is this one, and black, yoink, and this one is this one with the purple and yoink. There we go. And black, and this one, and green, green, green. Now you can do greater areas and everything with this, but I tend not to on the most part. Just tends to be difficult rather than helpful. Here we go. We'll tidy that up. And I'll put those back in black as well. And we want to keep the lines going through. So for that, I tend to move into there, just so as we don't get any silliness going on. And we're using that one in there. There we go. And we're using this one here. There we go. Perfect. Job's a good one. Oh, I missed a couple of blocks. So let's turn that back on, go back to textures, and we want this one. Yoink, yoink. There we go. No one would ever know we'd done anything. But we do now have a constructor on board. At least one gun turret. We're up to 12,000. So we will have a bit of spare CPU capacity. Now, in these early stages like this, I would recommend making the most of that CPU capacity. I mean, we have the CPU capacity. Being under CPU doesn't, as far as I'm aware, offer you any extra efficiency. They have talked about doing it, but I haven't seen anything that says this will then be more efficient for being under CPU by X amount. So with that in mind, I think we've got to talk about thrusters. We can upgrade some thrusters. Now, we did have some trouble with lift, so I'm thinking of maybe 2 mediums on the back and 2 mediums on the rear. We can have a sort of look at that and work out what's going to be best to do. How much CPU do we have to spare is the question. We have about 1,500 to spare. So if we go here and look at our next level of thrusters, which we've already unlocked, these are great. They use 168 CPU each, as opposed to these which use 123. So you're not actually talking that much. You're only talking about another 45. So you could upgrade all the thrusters and still keep well within CPU. Which, if we have the materials, I will do. I will probably save you from having to watch me do that though, because that might take just a little while to go around and pop all these thrusters out. And then pop them all back in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 and 14. And I think we've got 4 on the bottom, he says. We'll just hop it up in the air a little. Yeah, we've got 4 on the bottom, so we've got 18 in total, I think, thrusters there. I mean, I could have actually saved myself time and just counted this directly off here. 4, 4, 4, 12, 16, 2 there, 18. So yeah, we've got 18 thrusters. So I need to make 18 new thrusters if I can. And those thrusters will ultimately then be what we need to get going. That will just help us with our maneuverability, being able to deal with flying around. Electronics. What are we missing for electronics? What are we missing for electronics? What are we missing for electronics? Electronics. Take copper and silicon. We're gonna be hitting the copper pretty hard. So what I'm probably gonna do is, on the night shift, I will go and mine out some more copper. We've only got one other node on this planet, wherever it is. There. It's a small deposit, but it should be enough, hopefully. I mean, in the long term, that's probably going to make this base pretty useless, but this base was just a bit of fun, somewhere to as a fallback zone if we need it. Now, not having copper would be a bit of a bitch, but you could always mine it out from elsewhere, or convert it from raw stone. Anyway, I'm gonna go get the copper, and then I'll bring you back when I've upgraded the thrusters. Okay, so I spent a little longer than initially planned, but I have upgraded. Ooh, hungry. I got tons of soup of these bars though. I have upgraded all of the thrusters. In fact, the two forward facing thrusters are now large thrusters. So I open them up, I just about had enough resources, and as it's the only direction I only have 2 thrusters, I upgraded those to large thrusters. Now CPU, one thing I will do is I will auto regroup everything, which nicely puts everything back in the group, though you do lose some names sometimes. We're heading towards the edge of CPU limit. I don't know why I've got a spare one of those. I also put the shutters over the thrusters. I like the way it looks, and it gives an extra shot or 2 before the thruster's in serious trouble. So, always good in my book. I have Pentaxid made, ready to go. The one thing I did think about is whether to stick an extra gap or 2 on there. But I think I'm running the edge of CPU limit now. There's 720. So I actually don't have enough for 1 GAT. Because I had a temptation to get rid of the light and put a GAT in and then stick 2 lights here. But that would just take me over CPU limit. I will consider that if I need it later. But as is, I think we're pretty close to ready to go. Let's have a quick look in the fridge. What do we got? We got some burgers there. We'll eat those. Yeah, keep them coming. Yeah, nom nom nom. Now we're gonna need to make sure we got some food available to us in the fridge here. We can actually process some food, so we might process some of those steaks en route. We'll take the meds that we have and the water, because why the hell not? I think I will take a small selection of materials, not vast amounts though, because I'm hoping to pick most new materials up there. These 500 neodymium I am going to leave behind, so if I need neodymium or anything like that, I'm gonna come back. I mean, I can always come back. That is not gonna be a massive problem. I mean, as is, we're very close to the neodymium we need for getting that ship in. As it's probably our priority, I'm very tempted to do it. I do think I'm probably gonna bring that little base in as well, just for helpful things, but I'll do that when I get there. I think there'll be stone and things like that to gather. No real issues to gather those. We've got weapons, we've got multi-tool charges, we've got a portable constructor. I'm going to leave, this may be foolish, but I'm going to leave my explorer tokens behind and my Talon seal of credibility behind, just in case my ship happens to get destroyed somehow. Tempting to bring, but no. Other than that, I think we are ready to go. I'm going to go just down and put the base onto essentially silent running. We'll get the constructors turned off. We'll make sure the cooker is turned off. Yep. The light can stay on. The oxygen's good. management wise on this, let's hit the button on that one as well to group all our items. But main statistics wise, we've got 38 hours. The battery's at 32%, but that's mainly because I've been using the constructors relentlessly. Oxygen wise, okay, we could probably do with just chucking a bit more oxygen in to make sure that stays good. Where is the oxygen? He says. I'm sure I have more than that. I'm sure I have more than that. Hang on. Ah, we have still a bunch of oxygen here and a bunch of water there. So hang on a second, we'll grab those. 14 is fine. We'll chuck all those 14 in there. Thank you. I'll keep that running. And we can just make sure that the base is good to go with all the oxygen it can carry for now. Everything else can basically remain off. We're armored up, we're ready to go. So, we will head to Omicron. Now, the ship should be a little bit swifter now. Still, max speed seems to be 69, which is interesting. But we have more powerful thrusters now, so we should be able to fly at a much greater pace. Right, let's transition into Splitsie. Now, here's for the big moment. Omicron. Here we come. So we've locked Omicron. The one thing we haven't done is loaded up the pentaxid tank. That's all the pentaxid tank can take. So we need to... Where's our locked target? Ah, that's because I turned off all the things, because all the markers were just getting too much. So let's... Where is it? There we go. Omicron. Straight through the planet. I'm sure it'll be fine. Pick up speed and we will jump. And let's see what we've got. Come on, little ship. There we go. Our first jump of the series. Omicron is here. Right, so I'll get us down to the planet. We'll find a nice place to set down. There's what looks to be Polaris markers around. Plenty of asteroids, Prometheum, blah blah blah. I should really press I so I keep moving. There also, those are Polaris, so nothing too hostile here. There's an orbital trading station, so if I had bought my Explorer tokens I could have used those. But never mind, we can always jump back. There should be, hopefully, plenty of resources. But let's check out the view here as we head towards Omicron. I wonder if we can tilt and just be like, yeah, there we go. Coming towards Omicron. Grazing the atmosphere. Go swing, swing. There we go. Graze the atmosphere, and in we go. I mean, that wasn't actually so much graze as just hammer straight into the atmosphere, but you get what I was going for. I have found the signal source position. There seems to be a damaged comm station. I've added a marker onto your screen. So this seems very familiar. This is damaged comm station territory. So this all seems very familiar to the original start, which is interesting because the actual quest log when you go in here, I think I'm starting to see the familiarity here, because this was all the Tales of Tash, which we've sort of done. I don't quite know why this one just says will be activated. Kind of weird. But here we've got Prelude, All Alone, Comp Station, which seems to be very familiar to the original start. But I will do a little bit of surveying. There's a small copper deposit. Something else I've forgotten that I need to do is I have my turrets in. They're not active at the moment, but I shall turn them off Predator. And I shall just put them on my standard setup for now. Wow, is it dark. Ooh, Zurax rocket drone. Wreckage. So we definitely have some Zuraxian scumbags here. So I'm glad we got the extra thing. A damaged hover bike. What a piece of crap. Okay, so we're going to head over to the comm station. There appears to be a lot of resources over in that direction. But I think we will save the actual comm station for next episode. I didn't bring a tent, did I? Oops. Oh no, it's on my bar. We'll save that for next episode. And right now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe as always, and join us again next time. Thanks a lot.